Hello, Finance and Governance Committee. This is Sherry Klima, your Deputy City Manager, and this is the third amendment to professional services contract with Creative Core Technologies. The recommendation is that the Finance and Governance Committee recommend to the City Council that it approve and authorize the mayor to execute a third amendment to the professional services agreement with Creative Core in the amount of $1.7 million for a new not to exceed contract amount of $2.6 million, and to extend the term of the contract to the end of 2023 for project management services related to the ERP implementation. As you may recall, the ERP is a variety of separate technology systems that provide the foundational framework for nearly all of the city functions. So that includes timekeeping, HR, payroll, budgeting, financial reporting, and so forth. And what the ERP does is it integrates these services so they speak to each other. So the information moves from one system into another, and they are able to integrate or merge all that data. This is the history of the ERP project. The council approved the RFP funding in 2016, and we began the actual contract with Tyler Technologies, which is the software company, in the 2019-2020 fiscal year. We had multiple project management vendors, initially an employee and then another vendor, and we began with Creative Core in 2021. The ERP has multiple project goals and objectives. I won't go through all of them right now, but this is going to provide a tremendous customer service experience, both internally and externally, and allow for much more process efficiencies, data accuracy, and real-time financial data. It will streamline a lot of our processes and workflows and centralize a lot of our data and document management. So there are a lot of wonderful outputs out of this ERP, but with all of those come a tremendous amount of complexities. This is a big project with a lot of moving pieces. It is a multi-year project, and as you can see, these are the various modules in the ERP. We've already implemented ExecuTime, which is time and attendance for the city, and we are close to implementing core financials, human capital management, which is the HR and payroll. Implementation is right around its midpoint and plans to go live in April. Community development, which will allow our developers and homeowners to obtain permits, pay for fees, and request inspections and so forth from home, will roll out primarily in 2023 and go live at the beginning of 2024. And then the final two modules, utility billing and asset maintenance, come in 2024 and the beginning of 2025. We did have to move and reschedule the launch of core financials and HCM. There were key vacancies in the finance during this implementation, in the finance department and also in the IT teams that were incredibly important to this implementation. And so core financials was supposed to go live on July 1st of 2022, and I decided to move that go live to October 1st of 2022. This would also provide time for new staff to get up to speed. We are recruiting quite a few positions, especially in the IT team, and we have brought on a lot of new folks in finance. We also felt that there was a high risk of going live at the start of a fiscal year. There are higher risks for audit implications. We were originally, prior finance leadership thought that that risk was lower than it was, but as we learned more and more about the ERP and what could happen, we determined that was a greater risk than we had originally assessed. And so we did reschedule the launch of core financials 3 months out, and in so doing had to also push out human capital management because of the overlapping project management and IT needs of those two modules. So we are constantly learning more about Tyler's software and also about our own needs and our own processes. And as we learn more, we have to be flexible, be malleable, and constantly readjust the timeline, the resources needed for this project. On the project management side, as I mentioned earlier, there was an in-house a staff member who did project management, and then it went to Barry Dunn, which was one consultant. But progress on core financials had slowed down by the summer of 2021, and we shifted course to Creative Core Technologies, who performed a project assessment in the fall of 2021 and gave us sort of a game plan going forward. And then we've been working diligently with Creative Core Technologies on both core financials and HCM since that time. Creative Core has provided very good services to us. I'm pleased with the progress that we've made since they've been on board. And so we've been amending their contract to add more components of the ERP and also to expand their services as we understand more of our needs. So this $1.7 million contract amendment includes the rescheduling of core financials and HCM. It includes providing support immediately following the launch and project managing time and attendance. As I alluded earlier, the city rolled out time and attendance for most of city staff through ExecuTime, but police and fire have very unique needs in terms of time and attendance, particularly their advanced scheduling needs, which are complex. So we have done a thorough analysis of the software available, and the fire department is already on Kronos. Kronos needs to be integrated with the rest of our software. And then the police department will go on to InTime, which is its own separate software. We've done a thorough analysis to determine whether we could have less than 3 software systems. And there were places to save some money or be more efficient. But for multiple reasons that I'm happy to share with council and with members of the public, my determination was that all 3 software are relevant and critical and provide important services. And so project managing those 3 and their integration is $220,000. We need to provide project management services for module 3 and 4, InterGov and EAM, and then IT support services on top of standard project management services. In addition, in the chance that in this economy, in this market, we will not, there is some chance that we will not find all of the in-house IT services that we need to recruit, and so there is a contingency as well. These are details on the various needs that we are asking of this project manager. And again, the recommendation is that the Finance and Governance Committee approve and authorize the mayor to execute the 3rd amendment to the professional services agreement with Creative Core in the amount of $1.7 million for a new not to exceed contract amount of $2.6 million and extending the term of the contract to the end of 2023 for project management services related to the ERP implementation. If you have any questions, I'll be available at the Finance and Governance Committee meeting. Thank you.